Good morning, I'm Abheudaya Shrestha, and these are the headlines of the hour. International Mount Everest Day being observed by organizing various programs to honor Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay Sherpa, who first conquered the world's highest peak 71 years ago. Finance Minister Barsaman Pun announces a budget of 1,860.3 billion rupees for the next fiscal year, priority given to the education sector and infrastructure development. China warns the United States not to question China's military exercises targeting Taiwan, says external interference is not acceptable. And Fiorentina and Olympiacos to clash in the Europa Conference League title decider early tomorrow morning. The final scheduled to kick off at 12:45 a.m. past midnight. Today is International Mount Everest Day. The day is being observed by organizing various programs. People worldwide celebrate the day every year to honor Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay Sherpa, who first conquered the world's highest peak 71 years ago on May 29, 1953. More than 8,000 mountaineers have reached the peak of Mount Everest so far. Mountaineer Kamirita Sherpa climbed Mount Everest for the 30th time this year to set a new world record. Nepal started celebrating International Mount Everest Day from 2008. This year's theme for International Everest Day is World's Highest Peak Mount Everest, Nepal's Identification and Pride. To mark the day, a rally went through Kathmandu this morning. The rally started from the capital's Tamil and ended at the Academy Hall in Kamladi. Various mountaineers are scheduled to be felicitated today. The government has introduced a budget of 1.8603 trillion rupees for the upcoming fiscal year, prioritizing education and infrastructures. The upcoming fiscal year has been declared the year of economic progress. The budget presented by Finance Minister Barsaman Pun during the joint meeting of both the houses of the parliament yesterday is higher for the upcoming fiscal year by 6.2% compared to the current one. The budget of the current fiscal year is 1.751 trillion rupees. In the new budget, 1.14067 trillion rupees, which is 61.31% of the total budget, has been allocated for current expenses. Likewise, towards capital, 352.35 billion rupees or 18.94% has been allocated, and 367.18 billion rupees has been set aside for economic transfer. This is 19.74% of the total budget. According to Finance Minister Pun, tax collection is the main source of revenue. 1.2603 trillion rupees will be collected from tax and 52.33 billion rupees from foreign grants. The remaining target of 547.67 billion rupees will be covered with 217.67 billion rupees from foreign loan and 330 billion rupees from internal loan. Economic progress and promotion of the private sector, agriculture, energy, information technology, tourism, industrial development and infrastructure development, education, health, development of social sectors, inclusivity, social security, and good governance and important improvement in public service delivery are the priorities of the budget. The agriculture sector transformation, development of energy and information technology, promotion of tourism and development of entrepreneurship and industry have been included as 5 transformative sectors of the budget. 148 billion rupees has been allocated for grants to provincial and local levels for the upcoming fiscal year. 60 billion rupees has been allocated for provincial levels and 88 billion rupees for local levels. Likewise, 234.73 billion rupees has been allocated for conditional grant for provincial and local levels, with 25.84 billion rupees for provincial levels and 288.8 billion rupees for local levels. Likewise, 6.2 billion rupees has been allocated for provincial levels as complementary grant and 7.132 billion rupees for local levels. Towards special grant, 4.4 billion rupees has been allocated for provincial levels and 8.5 billion rupees for local levels. Finance Minister Pun was provided the opportunity to unveil the budget yesterday for the second time. The budget book was brought to the Parliament inside a locally produced nettle and dhaka bag that was purchased from the capital's Tamil. The government has raised the budget for the Ministry of Fiscal Infrastructure and Transport Management from 131 billion rupees for the ongoing fiscal year to 150 billion rupees for the next. Majority of the portion has been allocated for old and new ambitious projects. Minister for Finance Barsaman Pun announced of running the Bharatpur, Butwal and Pokhara centered Gandaki Economic Triangle project, which includes establishing the Narangarh Butwal section into a center for construction materials and heavy industries, the Mugling Pokhara section into center for agriculture and food processing industry, and the Pokhara Butwal section into center for electronic devices, shoes, textiles, carpets, household items and services, among others. The government has also allocated 2 billion rupees for forming a model plan for public-private partnership. 29.88 billion rupees has been allocated for the expansion of the East-West Highway, wherein the upgradation works of Kakarbita, Lokahi, Kamala Dhalkebar Patlaya, Narangarh Butwal and Goru Singhe and Paluang Lamhai Road will begin in the next fiscal year. The government has allocated 22.54 billion rupees for the completion of the Mahadev Tar, Dhadre and Lanedada tunnelways in the next fiscal year. The government has also announced of completing construction of 150 bridges along with the Sisne Khola Nagdunga road construction, Siddhababa tunnelway and Gwarko flyover in the next fiscal year. Likewise, 3.68 billion rupees has been allocated for the Mid-Hill Highway, 3.33 billion rupees for the Postal Highway, and 4.3 billion rupees for the Karnali Corridor. Likewise, 5.63 billion rupees has been allocated for construction of tunnel flyovers and intersections. 1.05 billion rupees has been allocated for the Chure Conservation Project that experts say has failed to produce desired results. 26.63 billion rupees has been allocated for drinking water and sanitation. Likewise, the government has aimed at the effective implementation of the One House, One Tap program, under which 425,000 households will benefit in the coming year. The investment modality and preparations for the Nijgarh International Airport to be built in the public-private partnership model is to be determined within the next fiscal year. Likewise, 360 million rupees has been allocated for the completion of the Bharatpur Airport and 3.77 billion rupees for the Civil Aviation Authority. In the next fiscal year, the government has announced of completing the feasibility study of the Kerung-Kathmandu Railway. The government has aimed at exporting information technology services worth 3 trillion rupees in the next 10 years. It intends to generate 500,000 direct and 1 million indirect jobs by doing so. The IT sector is one of the 5 priorities of the government for the next fiscal year. While announcing the government's budget for the next fiscal year, Minister for Finance Barsaman Pun said the government will establish a startup fund worth 1 billion rupees and developing a digital economy, forming a high-level commission to make recommendations, promote digital payments, and use digital currency for economic development. The government has declared the coming decade as the decade of information technology, which it views will be the driver of the economy. Hence, the government is preparing for legal basis to implement time-relative IT laws and form institutional mechanism to implement and monitor the renewed digital framework. 590 million rupees has been allocated for the same. An information technology park is to be built in Kathmandu and Butwal. An information technology hub will be built in Delhi Bazar's Charkhal in the capital. Likewise, 170 million rupees has been allocated for a knowledge park in Lalitpur's Kumaltar. The government is to prioritize local softwares and upgrade government data center. Public entities will be required to use locally developed softwares. The criteria for data center used by the private sector is also to be set and the electronic information storage system established accordingly. The government has also aimed at implementing broadband internet services at all ward offices, community schools, and health institutions. The government has aimed at raising public's access to internet and narrowing the digital divide. The private sector of the country has given a mixed reaction on the budget for the upcoming fiscal year, which was unveiled yesterday. Let's take a look at their reactions.
Nepali private sector, FNCCI, every year giving some suggestion for the budget. Then after this, the suggestion, some of the suggestion is, incorporated with this, the budget. Yeah, maybe budget is how we can going to implement, and this is, the major, the concern. But we can see all the detail in the, the figure. Then we will give this our, the official, the decision by tomorrow.
हामीले सरकारलाई चाहिँ यो पुँजीगत खर्च वृद्धि गर्नुपर्छ भनेको थियौं। पुँजीगत खर्च गत वर्ष जस्तै 70% मै सीमित छ र यसले थप नयाँ कुरा केही दिएको अनुभूति चाहिँ भएको छैन।
समग्र बजेट अब ठिकै छ भन्नुपर्छ हैन। तैपनि बजेटको आकार गत वर्षको भन्दा करिब 20% प्लसमा आएको रहेछ। त्यसले गर्दा अलिकति ठुलो बजेट जस्तो लाग्छ। र हाम्रो निर्माण क्षेत्र कुरा गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ नि अब 5, 10, 15 बेडको हस्पिटलहरुको लागि जुन 15 छुट्याएको छ त्यो सकारात्मक छ। किनभने हाम्रो गत वर्ष धेरै साथीहरुले चाहिँ भुक्तानी भएको थिएन भनेदेखि अब अन्य विषयमा चाहिँ विस्तृत अध्ययन गरेर हेरिरहेछु भन्नु।
समग्रमा जेनरल बजेट हो, मतलब सरकारले ल्याउनु पर्ने बजेट हो। यो दिनको लागि यो तोकिएको दिनमा ल्याएको बजेट हो। बजेटले जुन निजी क्षेत्रलाई जुन हौसला प्रदान गर्नुपर्ने त्यस्तो किसिमको बजेटमा खासै सम्बोधन गरिएको छैन।
There were mixed reactions from chief ministers and ministers from provinces towards the government's budget for the next year. Chief Minister of Madhya Province, Saroj Kumar Yadav, has opined the budget will not ensure effective implementation of federalism, while Bagmati Province Chief Minister Salikram Jamarkatel has said the budget called for partnership between all 3 tiers of the government for development, employment and productivity.
संघीयता कराउनको पक्षमा मैले यो बजेटबाट मैले देखेन। खास गरेर मेरो बुझाइ अनुसार यो बिल्कुल संघीयता विरोधी बजेट मैले हेरे।
प्रदेश स्थानीय तह र सङ्घले गर्नुपर्ने अधिकांश कामहरू चाहिँ र साझेदारीमा गर्ने, विशेष गरी विकास, रोजगार र उत्पादनमा साझेदारीमा गर्ने भन्ने नीति मैले सुने। त्यो चाहिँ मलाई लाग्छ अहिलेको हाम्रो व्यवस्थाको आत्मसातीकरण हो।
जसरी बजेट प्रस्तुत गरिएको छ संकेत राम्रो देखिएको छ, उत्साह जगाउने खालको छ, तर शंका चाहिँ कार्यान्वयन कति हुन्छ, सरकारको टिकाउ कतिको हुन्छ, उले कति कार्यान्वयन गर्न सक्छ, कति भित्रैबाट उसको त्यो इच्छा शक्ति कति छ भन्ने कुराले चाहिँ भर पर्छ।
बजेट विगतका दिनहरुमा भन्दा तुलनात्मक रूपले बढी जनमुखी र प्रगतिशील देखिन्छ। खास गरिकन अहिले शिक्षा क्षेत्र र स्वास्थ्य क्षेत्रले तुलनात्मक रूपमा चाहिँ प्राथमिकता पाएको देखिन्छ।
पूर्वाधारका हिसाबले कर्णालीलाई चाहिँ संसरकारले प्राथमिकतामा राखेर बजेट निर्माण गरिदिएको भए हामी संघीयतामा आइसकेपछि कर्णाली र संघीयताको मर्मबमोजिम यो बजेट आएको अनुभूत हुने थियो। यो बजेट मेरो विचारमा न कर्णालीका आवश्यक मुद्दालाई देखिने गरी सम्बोधन गर्न सकेको छ, न त यो संघीयताको मर्ममा आधारित छ।
The ruling alliance has termed the budget introduced by the government yesterday as positive. They have claimed that the budget will address the deteriorating economic condition of the country. However, opposition parties have said that the implementation part will be challenging amid uncertainties regarding sources.
So far as I think, it is based on populism. It has not targeted the real object. Just distributory approach and trying to keep every sector in humor, but concrete approach, concrete directions is not giving by this budget. So it is more or less a traditional, populist and also ambitious. Because the problem of our nation is not only resources constraint, it is basically management constraint. Still we are increasing the size of budget. There is no balance in between our capacity and budget allocation. That has to be managed. And I think overall, it is a traditional, populist and distributory budget.
अहिलेको पोजिसनमा सकारात्मक नै छ। तर यो अहिले बजेटमा जो शीर्षकहरू तोकेका छौं जो प्रोग्रामहरू तोकेका छौं त्यसलाई पूरा गर्न चाहिँ 95 खर्ब जति लाग्छ यो अहिले 18 खर्बले पुग्दैन
नेपाली र समृद्ध नेपालको राष्ट्रिय आकांक्षालाई पूरा गर्ने गरी र अर्थतन्त्रलाई चाहिँ यो वर्ष सुधार गर्ने गरी र जनतालाई डिलिभरी दिने गरी चाहिँ काम गर्ने भनेर यो बजेटमा आएको छ र धेरै चुनौती भनेको अब जुन सामाजिक र आर्थिकमा देखिएको र कार्यान्वयन पक्ष यो कार्यान्वयन पक्षलाई चाहिँ राम्रो गर्दै गयो भने समग्रमा यो बजेट राम्रो छ
In our public voice segment, we had asked people in several provinces how they found the government's budget for the next fiscal year. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
जुन सुस्थ किसिमको अर्थतन्त्र अहिले छ त्यसलाई क्रियाशील गर्ने खालका कार्यकलापहरू कार्यान्वयन गरिन छ भनेर जुन सरकारले भन्छ त्यो सबैभन्दा महत्त्वपूर्ण कुरा हो
बजेटमा सम्बोधन हुने तर कार्यान्वयनसम्म पुग्दाखेरि अलपत्र पर्ने विगतदेखिकै परम्परा हो
कृषि क्षेत्र ओझेलमा थियो यसले अवश्य पनि कृषिमा लगानी गर्नलाई र रोजगारी बढाउनलाई यस्तो कार्यक्रमले जुन लगानी दशकको कुरा छ त्यसले राम्रो ल्याउँछ
महिला सशक्तिकरण महिला अधिकारको लागि समेटेको मैले पाइन
It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Here's the question. What's your take on the inability to raise capital expenditure compared to the overall budget? Your options are A, increase in administrative costs, B, added social security burden, and C, lack of capacity to spend. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. It's time now for the international updates. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao Ning has said that Taiwan is completely part of China and the U.S. has no right to raise question on Taiwan. She has also made it clear that external interference is not acceptable. In a press conference held in Beijing yesterday, she gave this clear statement when asked about the U.S.'s response to the Chinese military's exercises targeting Taiwan. Stating that it is unreasonable for the U.S. to question the military exercise, she said that it is purely an internal matter of China. She said that the U.S. does not have the right to question China regarding the issue of Taiwan. She also clarified that there is no need for the U.S. to make irresponsible comments about the exercise. China has said that the drills targeting the island of Taiwan are a punitive response to the provocation of Taiwanese President Lai Ching-te, who has expressed his support for Taiwan independence. After Taiwanese President Tay took office on 20th of May, he made a statement about Taiwan independence and asked China not to interfere in the matter. China became angry and started military exercises. The U.S. is also interested in this matter and said that China should give the answer-related drill. She said that the statement given by the Taiwanese president at the instigation of the U.S. is not good for Taiwan, and the U.S. will also have to pay for it. She said that if the U.S. wants peace and stability in Taiwan, it must follow the One China principle in the region. The three countries of Europe, Belgium, Spain, and Portugal, are going to provide military aid worth about $2 billion to the president of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky. Zelensky, who is on a trip to three countries in Europe, yesterday held separate meetings with the prime ministers of Belgium, Spain, and Portugal and signed a bilateral military aid agreement. F-16 fighter jets are also included in the agreement, along with military assistance. At the end of this year, an agreement has been reached to send the first batch of F-16 to Ukraine. On the other hand, Russian President Vladimir Putin has warned the Ukrainian president that after the three countries signed a military aid package agreement yesterday, Ukraine will suffer serious consequences. President Putin said on Zelensky, if Russia is attacked with the weapons provided by the West, the war will take a different turn and the war will escalate. President Putin has asked the North Atlantic Treaty Organization NATO to be aware of the possibility of a war. Similarly, Putin has also warned Ukraine to hold elections immediately. That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.